podcast with Amanda, Shandy, and Colleen. My name is Colleen.
My name is Amanda.
And I'm Shandy.
Welcome to the show, everybody. This is season 5, episode 30, episode number 210. How is it going?
Wow, it's good. It's so weird. I mean, we say this every time, but to hear, season 5, episode 30, that's wild.
It kind of is crazy because I feel like we just had our birthday party, our 4th birthday party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, gosh, that does feel pretty recent.
I know, but it was June.
No, not that recent. You know what? This past year, time is just, it expands and shrinks, and it's time has done funky things this year.
It really has.
No.
Like, I don't even know. I don't even, we're approaching a year of pandemic, and I remember
Happy anniversary!
Happy COVID-versary! St. Patrick's Day weekend will be our official.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? Because March 11th was when the alarm bells really started here, but it was that following week where everything shut down. I remember, because today that we're recording this, February 9th, is Alex's birthday, and I remember reading about COVID coming to the United States and how it would be bad if we didn't take precautions. I remember reading about it the morning of his birthday party last year, a year ago.
Wow.
And it was still like over a month away. And it's just a distant, jam. Anyway, time, crazy. Woo!
No, I remember because I went to Miami for the weekend, right before. And I remember one of my girlfriends that I went with was saying oh, do you think it'd be weird if I wore a mask on the plane? And my brain was not she said mask, and I thought face mask. I was like, no, that sounds very rejuvenating. That sounds funny. And then it's as we were talking, I was like, oh no, she means a face mask. Just pretend you follow, just keep going. But and now it's that's such a funny thing to think about, because now it's someone says mask and you have a very clear idea what a mask is nowadays, and it's completely different from how the first thing that I would associate with that word this time last year.
Yeah,
totally.
And it's still weird nowadays when you watch TV or a music video. I was watching the Britney Spears Toxic video earlier because the Britney documentary, I want to watch it. And, I obviously love me some Britney Spears. And oh no, it wasn't the video. It was a video of her doing a live performance of it from a couple of years ago. And I was just where are their masks? What is going on? And then I was like, Colleen, this is from 2018. They didn't need their masks back then.
No, it's totally wild.
Yeah, I've definitely done that with watching various things. And you're like, oh, wait, why is everyone being so unsafe? And you're like, well, it wasn't always like this. And hopefully it won't be. Yeah. Someday we'll go back to some kind of life where you're not always putting something over your face when you leave the house.
Yeah. I feel like at some point we have to, right?
I mean, we don't have to anything, but it would sure be nice.
It would be. I know I haven't waxed my lip in a year, and that's been nice, so.
I bet.
Nice. I got a terrible haircut about this time last year, and I haven't got one since. And
your hair still looks lovely.
That's great.
It's grown out. It's gone through the 12 phases of COVID hair.
12 phases of COVID hair.
And it's kind of working now. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I like it. It still looks styled. My hair does not. If I take it down, it's just.
I beg to differ.
It doesn't look like a haircut anymore. It just looks like hair on my head.
Have you noticed?
Your hair is always great.
You had
it down last time, and it was just this wonderful mane of curls, and it was great.
Yeah. I
look back at the haircut from August, and I miss it.
Your hair always looks good. It doesn't matter what length it is, Amanda. You have beautiful hair.
That's very sweet. I agree to disagree.
Have you noticed that you shed less because of the prenatals and the hormones?
Yes, because also I have curly hair, so I don't ever brush it. So I see it in the shower, because usually during any normal time of my life when I'm like washing my hair. It's like a chihuahua like in the sink drain. Like there's just like so much.
Right.
And that's not really happening these days.
It's kind of like one of the best perks, to be honest.
Well, but then it comes back to bite you, and it all like drops at once. And
I wasn't going to tell you that though, but after
I read. I've been trying to prepare.
Yeah, after like 3 months, it is. Remember, I cut my hair super short a few years ago. Yeah, it is really bad when it falls out, but just if you're prepared, it doesn't last forever. It grows back. Just give it a little bit. You can cut your hair real short again. It's mainly like the pain in the ass of cleaning it up more than anything else.
Yeah.
It's just hair everywhere. But enjoy it now because like pregnancy hair is like the best hair.
Man, the things I didn't know about pregnancy are more things than I realized.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Good times. So Alex turned 3 today and it was so funny. So he was outside playing the sandbox and I was keeping an eye on him back and forth because he's just out of my line of sight. So I go to check on him, every couple of minutes and I catch him leaving the pond area. So I promptly freak out and I'm like, what are you doing? You don't go near the pond. You know that. Because he wanted to turn the hose on and make mud with the sand, like get this cup of sand. And I was like, we're not doing that. It's just going to make you dirty and messy and we're not doing that. So my first thought was, holy shit, he's probably trying to like put the cup in the pond. And then he said he was just trying to feed the fish. And I was like, okay, I don't believe you, but whatever. So we had the talk. And then, a few minutes later, I check him again and he's at the other side of the pond. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, okay, now you've got to come inside if you're not going to listen to me about that because that's safety. And then I realize he's looking at me really funny. And then I realize he's like, holding his crotch. And I'm like, do you have to go to the bathroom? And Alex is really good. Like, he does not have accidents very frequently or whatever. And it turns out he had peed his pants and I don't know what he was doing over there, like pondering it or something, like just wistfully, like, what do I do now? This is so weird.
Maybe if I just get all of the pant wet.
Yes. So I don't know. I don't know what the process was, but I'm like, Alex, okay, we got to take you inside. And I pick him up, like kind of sideways and like, facing out. I'm like, and I carry him upstairs. I'm like, you're all muddy and your shoes are muddy. Your pants are muddy. They're covered with pee. Please don't touch me. And he's like stiff as a board on his side. And as I'm carrying him upstairs, he's like, Mommy, I apologize for this.
Oh, he's one of a kind.
I know. And I was like, huh? I was like, I apologize. And I was like, okay, it's okay.
What a well-mannered little man.
I know. It was so funny because I've never heard him say that before. And then after Jay finished his meetings, he, was like, hey, what's going on? Alex is like, I made pee-pee in my pants, Daddy, and I apologize. I was like, all right.
Oh, he's the cutest.
Oh, that's really fun.
It was really cute. That was just so funny. I apologize.
I apologize. I apologize.
I apologize for this. And it wasn't even like, I'm sorry. It was literally the word, I apologize for this.
No.
Like, seriously, he's gonna be like a sitcom writer. That's like a line out of a sitcom.
I know. Oh, it was so funny.
Oh, the whole story. Like, yeah.
But it's a line that a lot of adults have a hard time with.
I know.
He's mastered it already. Like, damn.
He's already ahead of the game.
Yeah.
I know, right? So it's just, it was really funny.
Wow.
So, how was everybody else's week? Good or?
Well, it's happening.
Fair.
Good. We went for a hike on Sunday, and it was the second time we've been to this place. I mean, there are so many state parks and just like all these different regional parks in the area. And honestly, like that's sort of like, one of the upsides, if I can say upside, of COVID has been discovering all these things that we wouldn't otherwise have really explored, just because we used to go farther away. But anyway, so there's this beautiful park up north of here with a ton of redwoods. I mean, it feels like, it reminds me of Fern Gully, kind of. You feel like you're kind of in a rainforest. It's just so cool.
Wow.
And so we went on this big hike, and the last time we went, which was the first time we had ever been there, we liked it and everything, but there were a ton of people. And so, especially at the beginning, like once you get a little bit further along the trail, it was okay. But like, so this time we're like, okay, well, last time was a 3-day weekend. People, are traveling even though they're not supposed to be, whatever. So that was probably why it was so packed. So like, we'll go back this weekend. And when we got there, we're like, oh, it's Super Bowl Sunday. So there was like nobody there.
That's awesome.
Perfect. We should have this arrangement more often. Like people can go do their football, and that's cool. And then like we'll just go hike, and there won't be very many people out there. So it was just a really cool Fern Gully experience with not a lot of people along the trail. Perfect.
That is awesome.
So yay football, yay Super Bowl. Like let's do this all the time.
Oh, that sounds a dream. It's been too cold to go outside here.
Yeah.
Although I did go to the post office this morning.
Nice.
Ooh.
Which sucked real bad.
But you got out of the apartment.
I did get out of the apartment. Mainly because our internet wasn't working. So I normally like work out in the mornings. Like I do like a Zoom workout with some old like gym buddies, but our internet wasn't working. So I was like, well, I'm up. I guess I'll go to the post office.
What time does your post office open?
Like 9.
It's so
when I say I get up, like I get up at like 7:40. It's not.
I'm imagining like 6 o'clock. Like,
yeah, no, I'm not doing. I mean, I am awake, but I'm sort of weighing how badly I have to pee, and if I could just like hold out for an hour and get a little sleep.
I've done that too. There's been so many times in the middle of the night where I'll be like, it's 4, I don't want to get up, and then I'll go back to sleep, and I'll wake up again at like 4:45, and I'll be like, I just don't, it's just cold, I don't want to go pee, and then I'll wake up again at 5:30, and I'll be like, fine, I should have just peed at 3.
Yeah. Well, and especially now because in this new apartment.
Oh, because you're all the way across, right? It's like not even close.
It's literally the bathroom is on the complete opposite side of the apartment from the master bedroom, so like it is a walk.
Okay, see, now I feel bad because I was complaining about 5 feet.
So, you really do have to weigh because it's like, it's a journey. It's a several minute journey.
Right. And then you're awake by the time you get there and back.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, usually I can like settle back down and go back to sleep. But then it's like, usually I'll find the cat somewhere. And so if it's in the earlier part of the morning, he's like, oh, it's breakfast time. Like, burp, 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 burp. And you're like, no, not that either.
Try again.
I'm going back to bed. We'll do this in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
See you later.
Oh my God. I got Zoom bombed the other day.
Whoa.
Oh my.
It was.
Is that still happening?
Yeah. It was an experience. So we had a program, and say there was about 150 people that signed up, and there were, with 3 or 4 minutes before the call, there was already like 100 people on the call. And I was like, oh, this is great. Let me make some announcements, because February is like our biggest month for like new, trying to get January, February, to like trying to get new members and blah, blah, blah. So like I'm doing the spiel, and like I know most of the people on there, and like all of a sudden, and it started at 1, I hear somebody say, yo, shut the fuck up. And I'm thinking that somebody doesn't realize that they're not muted and they're like on the phone, right? Because I've had that happen where I've heard people have conversations, and as the admin, I've had to go mute them real quick. So I look, it's 1:01, and I'm like, oops, sorry, you're right. I'm a minute over. Let me turn this program back over to Alicia, and we'll just get started. And then it just gets louder and louder. F-bombs, then N-words start getting thrown. And and at that point, I'm like, oh, this isn't somebody. Because at first, it was just one voice, and I'm thinking, like, somebody isn't jackass and they're having this weird conversation. And I try to mute and I realize I can't mute this person. So I go to mute all because I'm like, sorry guys, let me just mute everyone. And then, Dan and Mark and Alicia, those were my 3 people. I was like, you guys can just unmute yourselves. Sorry, hold on. I'm still like, ha ha ha. And while I'm doing this, I realize I'm hitting mute all and it's not muting these people. They're just not getting muted. And then I look up and realize that somebody is screen sharing penises.
Oh my God.
And I'm thinking to myself, yep, that's a dick.
Oh my God. I can't believe that almost a year into the pandemic, this is still happening with Zoom.
I can't believe,
because you would have thought, like, I get it at the beginning, but like then it was a known problem and everyone's using Zoom, so like fix it.
Right.
Oh, well, I know.
But that's the thing, though. It's like for every like upgrade they make to make the system safer, like there's always someone that's going to figure out how to like get over it.
And also, I hadn't turned the waiting room on for this, and I should have. Because if I had turned the waiting room on, but again, they did not have weird names or like it was like it was seriously like David, it was not P like 333
right,
or something.
They were smart about it. They really just wanted to like get in.
So I start, end screen share, report participant, whatever, and the penises are coming faster than I can stop them. So like anytime I block someone, somebody else throws it up there, and I just am like, I know I'm turning bright red. I've got, 100 and I think in the end it was like 133 people out of the 150 that had signed up. Got 133 people, and I'm like, just a second, guys. So like somebody was like,
it was a band of.
It was a band of. It was like a merry caravan of. A caravan of Zoom bombers, if you will, right?
Yeah,
like the caravan was coming. Yeah. So it was so intriguing. And I hear them be like, yo, these are lawyers. This is this is a legal thing, yo. And like, it sounds like they're college kids. Like they didn't even have like that high school kind of voice. You know what I mean? Like it sounded like they had to have been like in college age, because that just did to me. It did. And maybe I'm misremembering, but like in the moment, I remember thinking, oh my God, I've got a bunch of 20-year-olds that are sharing penises on my screen and saying the N-word. And they dropped the, if it was just the penises, it wouldn't have been as offensive. It was the N-word and the F-bombs, but particularly the N-word being thrown around every other word that was so gross and so horrific and offensive. And that was the thing that was killing me, because I was just like, I was like, I can joke off penises, but I can't joke off the N-word. I don't know what to do. So finally, like, they're doing this. Somebody was like, at our last program, because one of our last ones was technology. They were like, at blah, blah, blah technology one that we did, they said to hit control F7 and it'll get rid of them. So I'm like shaking. I'm like, okay, let me try to do this. I was like, good job paying attention. And then again, they just that's what she said. They were coming faster than I could stop them. So finally I was just like, hey guys. And again, it seems like it was forever, but it was maybe a total of like 90 seconds that all this happened. But I was like, hey guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this meeting and I'm going to delete it. So don't try to get back into this. I'm going to email everybody a new Zoom link, and I'm going to put it so that you have to be authenticated to log in, and that and we're going to do a waiting room, and I'm going to let everybody in one at a time. So please be patient. We're going to start a few minutes late now, but like, be patient. I will be right back. I'll get you the link. So like, I set up the new link and did the security stuff and let everybody in one person at a time. And thankfully, I recognized anyone. We didn't have any problems with people coming in. And then I realized it's 1:08 at this point and my speakers aren't there. And then I realized that they weren't on the registration list. So I had forgotten to send them the new link. I'm like, does anybody know where Dan and Mark are? They're not in here yet. I'm like, oh yeah, guys, maybe I send them this. There's like this total comedy of errors. So I get them, and I'm like, and then when I'm checking my emails later, because I had so many emails, I see one of them at like 106 was like, hey, just let us know when you've got the new link up.
You are dealing with a lot. That's really grace under pressure. Like, oh my goodness, that was so much to navigate.
It was a very hectic few minutes. You finally got like officially started. Only 10 minutes late, which was great. And
that's amazing if you think about it. Out of all that, and you were just 10 minutes late.
Oh
like, kudos.
God. Thank you. But it was something else. And of course, I had, out of, let's say, 133 people, I think, ended up going, I had probably 120 people email me because they had to email me to check in. And I usually tell them, like, a secret something they have to do so I know they're paying attention. And, like, I was just like, I don't know, send me something to make me laugh because I'm real tense right now. That was how I left it.
That's a good one.
I got a lot of dad jokes because I've done the dad joke thing before.
Nice.
And I got a lot of people's puppies, actually. I got several puppies, which was really awesome. But I also got probably 120 people had really nice things to say. One person had the, well, you know, blah, blah, blah. If you had done it this way, this wouldn't have happened. And they are the only person that CC'd my boss.
Of course.
None of the nice people.
Oh my God.
Listen, Karen.
Right?
There's always got to be one.
Exactly. But anyway, yeah, that was a thing. I told everybody at the end, I was like, well, you can check this off your pandemic bingo card.
You know what? It just adds a little spice to everybody's day. It's a good story to tell around the dinner table or at your podcast.
Exactly. But it's so funny because I texted my family that I got Zoom bombed, and my mom was surprisingly, she's like, what did they do? And my sister and my dad were both like, what's a Zoom bomb? And my other sister just ignored it and was like, I don't care. But like, Caitlin was like, never mind, I just Googled it. And my dad was like, but what is it? I was like, it's when people say the N-word and put penises up on your screen. And he was like, oh, sorry I asked. Yeah, anyway. Woo! I survived a Zoom bomb. A Zoom bomb this week.
Yeah, a pretty epic one at that. Oh my goodness.
Oh God. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. People have a lot of time in their hands, and again, it would have been funny if it was just penises. It was the N-word that put it over the top. Not funny, guys. Not funny.
Not cool.
No.
Really, just not okay.
Yeah.
It's very weird to think that like somebody, or not even somebody, like a group of people, like had nothing better to do with their time than something like that.
Yep.
It's like, damn.
Yep. So, you know, I was like, guys, I apologize for this. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Woo, all right. All right. I should have led with that. I totally forgot about it until like right now.
That's a doozy. I remember when we started online teaching because of the pandemic, like we are not using Zoom. And I remember a lot of people asking, like, saying like, you know, Zoom would be a better tool. Like, can we use Zoom with our students? And like the answers were basically like, no, for, you know, security reasons. And now I understand why.
Well, what I think happened, honestly, is we generally will put the Zoom link up on the website for people that register last minute after the emails of, you know, the materials, the handouts, everything has gone out. And we'll put it up maybe 24 hours out or morning of or whatever, depending, 12 hours out, depending what time it is. And this, a full week in advance, I put all up on the website. The link to the file library, the link to the Zoom, everything was up a full week ahead of time. And I didn't have the waiting room set up. So I think that had to have been where somebody is just going through and trying to find, you know, Zoom links that are public. The same as what happened with our live broad topics that, or whatever it was that when Ro got her ass. Somebody is just looking for Zoom links that happen to be like easy access for that. And they just.
What a strange use of one's time.
Right. Because it's really just to be a dick. Like it's for no other reason.
Or show your dick.
Nothing out of it. Yeah, or just show your dick. But it's like you're getting nothing out of it. Like there's no It's not like you're robbing a bank and you're getting money.
Right, exactly.
Right.
It's like
You're just being a nuisance.
Exactly.
Like, good job, guy.
It's like prank phone calls or ding dong ditch or putting like poop brownies in a mailbox just really got escalated. Like, but seriously, penises are better than the N-word. Just stop it with that, with the Zoom bombing. Like, that was just so gross.
Stop being a shitty human being.
Exactly. But at least I don't think this was live dick. I think there were definitely pictures that somebody downloaded.
Because that's the other thing. It's like, whose dick pics are they sharing?
I mean, it could have been theirs.
Are these consensual dick pictures? Well, not on the part of any of the attendees at the Zoom. Like, that was not consensual. Well, but, like, the actual owner of the penis, like, probably that person doesn't know that their dick pics being shared on.
I'm sure they're not sharing their own dick pics.
Well, right. It's either their own because they're like being hazed, or it's like some dick pic stock photo or something. Hopefully, that's like the best stock photo.
Shutterfly.com/penis.
Yeah, can we get some public domain dick?
Some royalty-free dicks. I don't want to pay for the image. I just want to,
you just want to share it.
I want to be able to use it for perpetuity, third party, full rights on the dick pic.
Oh my God! Yeah. Well, it started with hand-drawn dicks and then escalated.
So at least, it had a proper story arc, is what you're saying.
Like, it started with, like, somebody had drawn dicks, and then, like, it just escalated. I think it was meant to, like, as people caught on, like, the first person that got booted, then the second person shared their screen and, like, escalated it with different dicks, and then, like, anyway, good times. Does anybody else have anything?
Nothing's going to top that story.
I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to still the air.
No. I think that's a wonderful, wonderful way to end that part of the show.
All right. Well, speaking of dicks, I don't know where I was going with that. I had this thing from last week, and it was Boston.com readers share their airport love stories ahead of Valentine's Day.
Oh,
yeah.
And it was inspired by Mayor Pete and Chasten's proposal story. And he had said when he was nominated, Mayor Pete had said when he was nominated for transportation secretary, travel in my mind is synonymous with growth, with adventure, even love. So much so that I proposed to my husband Chasten in an airport terminal. Don't let anybody tell you that O'Hare isn't romantic.
Oh.
Yes.
Aww.
So, we've got stories. This first one is from Sarah King. Back on December 22nd, 2006, I was flying from O'Hare to Hartford, Connecticut to be with my parents for Christmas. About 45 minutes after takeoff, we lost cabin pressure, and the pilot came on the loudspeaker and told us we needed to get on the ground within minutes. The next thing I knew, we were sitting at a gate in Detroit, Michigan. What a place to have to emergency land. And
so, like, how is that? That's not on the way.
O'Hare to Detroit?
Right?
No.
Oh, no.
That works.
Right, O'Hare.
You're thinking
Chicago.
of Connecticut.
I'm thinking of Reagan. In
Oh, you're thinking of Reagan. Yeah, no, that's not along the way. That would be correct. Next thing I know, we're sitting at a gate in Detroit, Michigan, and United Airlines has no idea how to get a plane full of people to Hartford, as it's 3 days before Christmas. Everything is booked, and that plane is out of commission. As I wait in the voucher line for food tickets, I met a handsome guy who was also headed to Connecticut for Christmas to see his family. Ultimately, United chartered us a flight back to Hartford in the morning, and when I got off my plane, that handsome guy had waited for me and handed me his card, hoping to catch up for a drink once we were both back in Chicago. The rest is history, as we did get that drink, and now in 2021, we have been married for 9 years and have 2 daughters.
Oh, that's so nice.
And here's the cute part. Our wedding bands are engraved with ORD for O'Hare, to Detroit, DW, TTW, to BDL, which is, I guess, Hartford.
Bradley International
There you go.
Airport in Hartford, Connecticut.
There you go.
I've been to that airport. It's
I love
okay.
that.
Not as good as this story.
Well, to be fair, it was the Detroit leg of it that. But I love that. I love their cute
That's a good
little
story.
Yeah.
It's good.
Let's see. Love it, Logan. I met my boyfriend September 2016. Man, 2016 was a shitty year for a lot of us, but not for these people. I met my boyfriend September 2016 at Logan Airport. We were both traveling alone and ended up sitting next to each other at Beer Works in Terminal 3. That's it. Sold. Marry me.
The start of every grand love story.
I was at Beer Works at Logan. Wait, how do I say that in a Boston accent? I can't do it.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
I was at Beer Works.
Yeah, he does really elongate all your vowels.
A Beer Works in Terminal C. Terminal C. Okay, sorry. All right, I'm going to
Just
stop.
skip over the R's. The R's don't exist.
Yeah, I'm never going to do that again. I decided he actually scooted over closer to me once the tables between us emptied out. He made up an excuse to start chatting with me, and we talked for about 45 minutes. My flight was first, so I left. He ended up missing his flight because of a changed gate. I found him on social media, and we started chatting and became friends. Fast forward several months, I moved from Maine to live with him in June 2017. We reside on the South Shore and have 2 pups from Aruba. He's an electrician at the MFA. I'm a director of development at the Gregg Foundation. Now when he travels alone to Buffalo, like he was doing the day I met him, I tell him not to talk to anyone at the bar. It's a surprise. Okay. Next one is from Michael from Wisconsin. I asked my future wife to marry me at baggage claim at Logan in the summer of 2015. I was living in Phoenix at the time, but interning with the Nashua Silver Knights. She was visiting my family in New England for the first time. My sisters and nieces and nephews helped me plan the whole thing. They made signs and welcomed her to the family. It was the best day of my life.
Aww.
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
This one is from Carrie from Marblehead, which I'm guessing is in Boston-ish, in Massachusetts, rather.
Yes.
Okay.
I've heard of it. I couldn't tell you where it is on a map.
It's a good name, Marblehead. I like it.
Sticks in the mind.
It does. I'm always going to remember it. Kind of like my false ID from college was Nutley, New Jersey. Never going to forget that.
Nice. Yeah, no, I couldn't tell you where mine was from. Either one of them.
I picked a town that I'd never forget, clearly.
That's smart. That's smart.
I have to start this story by telling you that I had a consistent 10 years of bad travel luck. No matter the airport, no matter the time of year or weather, I was getting delayed or canceled every time I attempted to fly anywhere. On June 18th, 2018, I expected the same as I was flying back to Boston from visiting my parents in Indiana for Father's Day weekend. Dropped off my rental car at O'Hare. O'Hare really does. For a Boston.com story, O'Hare plays a lot of part. It must be like a main hub for flying through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
It's got to be, right?
And also just an epic airport.
Very
Because
true.
of Home Alone, I would say.
Okay, fair.
yeah.
I have a fondness for it.
Very true. Dropped my rental car at O'Hare and headed to the terminal, only to get an email letting me know my flight was delayed. No surprise. Luckily, I was at the airport early enough and thought I could get lucky and get on standby for an earlier flight out. I found the next flight out to Boston, put my name on the standby list, and looked for a place to sit. The entire airport was a madhouse that day due to thunderstorms. So I found a place next to the window and stood to wait for my name to be called. An announcement was made. Neither of us recall what it was or who was to speak first, but the handsome man sitting on the floor next to where I was standing and I started a conversation. After several delays, gate changes, and about 6 hours of conversation later, that man and I boarded the same flight to Boston. We exchanged numbers when we landed at a little past 3 a.m. A little over a year later, we were engaged and married just this past November. Haven't had a single flight delay or cancellation since I met the man of my dreams, and I will never speak badly about O'Hare ever again. I know. I really like that one too.
Yeah, I like that one.
All right. And then finally, I met my future husband in an airport in Aruba. My friend and I were standing in line at the airport to return to the States and being quite silly. He and his friend were right behind us and started to make fun of us, playfully, of course. We got to chatting. I was a flight attendant, had a layover near his town a week later, and we had our first date. 2 years went by and we didn't see each other, dated other people until we reconnected one day. He came to visit me a couple months later, and we've been together ever since. 5 years later, he planned a 2-week trip for us, but didn't tell me where we were going until we got to the airport. He surprised me with a trip to a place that was a lifelong dream of mine, the Maldives. He proposed while we were there. Gigi from New Bedford.
Oh, nice.
I know. Anyway, I thought these were just a sweet little pick-me-up in a... Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me of like the misconnections.
Oh, yeah.
What was it, Craigslist?
Yes.
I
Yes.
used to love those with just like, particularly like, because, in New York City, I think like the subway where, you see a lot of those like misconnections on the subway or like, I just love those kind of stories. I just think they're so sweet and romantic.
They are sweet and romantic. And like, they're very... In a year dominated by team science, which, yes, I'll give you, it was a year for science. It is nice to, once in a while have a Team Universe story. That's all.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I forgot all about the misconnections. Oh, man.
I had to until your stories made me think of them.
Oh, yeah. I love those things where things work out. If you have a story like that, thebroadcasters3@gmail.com.
Oh, send them our way. We need it. We need that like good sweet energy.
Yes, we do. That is our 2021 energy right there.
Yep. Putting that on my mood board.
Hell yeah. All right, well, let's take a quick commercial break. We'll come back and we will do some feedback. All right, and we are back and ready to get into our feedback. Amanda, you have watched The Flight Attendant.
I have. I've done it. Finished it last night.
Yay. What did you think about it? Because I've now heard mixed things from people. It wasn't just all the love that I have.
Yeah, it was a slow burn for me. I don't think I got really I didn't really start to enjoy it until I think the last 2 episodes.
Really? Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I think it's the first couple of episodes. I don't think I would have continued watching had I not known we were going to talk about it.
Okay.
I think if I was just watching it myself, I think I would have been like,
Yeah?
this is fine, I guess.
That's so funny because Sherry in the Facebook group had said the same thing. She was like, how long until you get into it? And I was like, I don't know. It took me 10 minutes. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, and it's like, and I can't put my finger on what it was that wasn't grabbing me. But yeah, it was fun. I liked the kind of kitschy Hitchcock feel to it. But it took a long time to really grab me. And I don't know if it ever completely did. I think I just sort of gave in and was like, okay, I'm enjoying this enough.
Yeah. Interesting. Did you guess who the bad guy was going to be in the end?
No, and I was actually super annoyed because I thought it was super dumb.
Really? Oh, I didn't think it was dumb.
It wasn't a like, oh, wow. It was like, oh, really? That's stupid.
Really? Oh, I disagree. Yeah. I didn't think that at all.
I thought it was real dumb.
I don't know. I thought that who it ended up being pretty much fit into the person. Like, she is the kind of person, and it was set up really well throughout the story, who would be preyed upon by somebody like that, and somebody like that would, of course, be drawn to somebody like her.
Yeah, well, maybe at that point I kind of was becoming kind of a passive watcher of it, that I wasn't paying close enough attention, so maybe there's sort of little points along the way that would have made that more exciting, but really it was just kind of like, oh, yeah.
Man.
Him? Them?
Okay. Did you like...
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Did you like Michelle Gomez's character?
I mean, I love Michelle Gomez and everything.
Okay.
She can do no wrong in my eyes. I think she's great and everything. So I did enjoy her, and I liked I liked where her character went. Again, I don't know if I wasn't watching with enough eye of attention, but I wasn't quite sure why she felt so attached to Kaylee Cuoco's character by the end. I felt like they didn't spend enough time together to
So I think it
be
was
so attached.
because it was kind of explained just like that Kaylee Cuoco's character was just one of those charismatic people that like you want to be around, and she also like she's so like, you know, charming that this international hit woman was even taken by her, especially because she was having like the throes of her revelations while she was with the Miranda character.
Right. And I don't know if that was enough for me.
Okay.
You know, it kind of felt a little like we're putting her up on this pedestal and like everyone needs to protect her and like nothing bad actually happens to her, but everybody else dies or loses their job. And it's like, well, that doesn't seem fair that the pretty blonde walks away unscathed and everybody else is either dead or has lost their job. Like, that doesn't seem right.
I don't know. I don't think she walked away completely unscathed from, I mean, it was kind of like
and I'm
her...
being a little hyperbolic.
Right.
There, yeah.
So, okay, my favorite line in the whole series, and I have, oh God, I hope I do it justice. It's from Miranda, and it's in the 6th episode or 7th episode, and they're in the bar, and she's like, you're in a bar. You can't just be whipping out your purse vodka. I think it's so funny. The way she says purse vodka, that I love it, and I say it all the time now. Just
like, that's a thing. That's a thing.
You can't just be whipping out your purse vodka. I don't know. It was really funny to me. It was, I don't know. It was one of those things. I just died when I first heard it. The second time I heard it, I was like, "This is amazing." I don't know.
Yeah, it was fun to see her with her real accent. That always throws me for a loop when somebody like plays an American character. And so you think of them as American, and then you see them in a different movie, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Or you could have the opposite effect where you see Benedict Cumberbatch as his British self, and then he tries to do an American accent, and you're like, oh my God, please stop it.
Right. Which is actually how I felt about Michelle Gomez in like the first season of Sabrina, because I knew she was Scottish. It's like you could hear it slide in every now and again, because it's just like, they're just very different accents. They're just very different. And it's, but I think it's, if you didn't know that she wasn't American, I don't know if you would pick up on it in that way.
Right.
And you can
also be thinking like, is there some sort of like affect going on because of the character? It's Sabrina. It's weird. It's whatever. But yeah, no, I really liked it. I think I had kind of a reaction in between you guys, because I also was kind of like into it right away. And I was expecting the reveal at the end to be more than what it was, but I still enjoyed it. And I do think it makes sense. I was expecting like maybe a bigger twist.
Yeah.
And I watched it with Frank, who like really liked it at first and was kind of like you, Amanda, let down by the end. And I think by the end of it, he kind of like didn't like the series, even though he really liked it at the beginning. So I don't know. I also thought just like all of the way that they explored childhood trauma and the way they explored how her brother was abused, but then also how she was abused. And she was kind of a bully to him, but like...
And he still forgave her because he went through it and understood it.
Right, because it like wasn't really her fault. I mean, like a lot of things were her fault, but like the position she was put in as a child and like the way that her dad pitted her against her brother and fed her alcohol, like that's also not okay. And just the whole way that they went through like how you can repress so many things and how she remembered things just like completely different than how they actually were, which is interesting because it also reminds me of the book that I read a couple of months ago on childhood trauma.
That's right.
Just like,
yeah.
So I thought that was really, really well done and really interesting.
I would agree with that. I think that was handled in a way that I found very captivating. Yeah, I agree.
So as far
also Shoshana.
Oh, Shoshana is great.
That's all I know her as. I don't know her actual name. Love her. Just love her. She's great.
Yeah, that was a really great character for her. And the boyfriend,
The boyfriend's
was
the
very
best.
familiar, and I could not place where I knew him from, but he looked so familiar.
Yeah, he was awesome. I did look him up while we were watching it, and I must not have recognized him for anything because I'm not pinging off the top of my head.
Was he maybe a child actor? Like maybe he was in like a teen something, like a Disney something?
Maybe. I mean, a lot of them are. Nowadays, we're old enough where those Disney people are coming of age of these kinds of shows.
Was he like one of the kids from The Sandlot? Like
No. Amanda, the Sandlot kids are like older than us now.
I know, but like that's what I meant. Like
Now, they've always been older than us.
It's like, oh, from like I've seen this person when they were young.
No, I think as far as the twist goes, I get it, like it being a letdown, but I called it, so I was like super hyped up about being right.
You're vastly interested. Of course you're gonna like it.
Like to the point where I was literally watching my sister's face every time, that character, there was something that alluded to it being that character where I was like, is she going to guess it? No, she doesn't know yet. I'm still smarter.
Yeah. But I also found myself not wanting to guess. Like,
no, that's fair.
I think I wasn't paying close enough attention.
That's fair too. But I think a lot of it, what I liked is I really like whodunit kind of things like that. But I did really love the way, like Shandy was saying, that the childhood trauma and the lessons and her coming to terms with what happened to her. Like, I really thought that was really well told in the way that it all pieced together. Because it is there from the very first episode. Like, there's even the Miranda sighting is there in the very first episode where you won't notice it unless you know to look for it because you've seen it before.
Oh,
yeah,
she's rewatched the first episode.
Yeah, like
right.
she's in the first.
Intriguing.
Yeah, she's in the first episode, and the bad person, is in the first episode too. And again, unless you know to look for it. Then
it gets revisited in the last episode, which I remember because I just watched it last night.
Yeah.
Right.
But I did like, I liked how everything pieced together too. But I liked how ultimately it was a story of somebody coming to terms with their trauma and hopefully becoming a better person in the end. And there's, kind of like an anti-hero but redemption arc anti-hero in a way.
Yeah.
And there's something very powerful of the moment in the last episode where she puts all the vodka shooters out on the ledge and it's just kind of like turns away like, what am I doing with all these? Like
that's a lot of fucking vodka.
I know.
It's a heavy purse.
I know. I was thinking that too. Is that bad that our first thought was that's gotta weigh so much versus oh yeah, that's bad for her too. And her brother was T.R. Knight from Grey's Anatomy.
Yes,
I was like, he got a job. Yay.
Well, George O'Malley, it's nice to see him getting work.
Yeah.
I will say I really, really love that, and we're spoiling, right?
I'll cut it out. Don't whatever. I'll edit around it. Don't worry about it.
I mean, I really love that Miranda wasn't the big bad.
Yes, I like that.
Same.
Yeah, no, I love that too. I like that. Her character was just fun.
Yeah. Her character was fun.
I think
her character might have been my favorite character.
Yeah, agreed. So Rosie Perez, that is what Matt's comment is about, actually. So let me, before we're done talking about it, he said, Flight Attendant was a lot of fun. While I think the Rosie Perez subplot felt like filler and the reveals behind what happened underwhelmed me, I still enjoyed the ride, at least as a character study. And I think I like character studies, and that's why I liked it so much. Kaylee Cuoco shows a lot.
I think.
What? Sorry?
Cuoco?
Okay. Kaylee Cuoco shows a lot of range between this and Harley Quinn, and I invested in her story. I also liked how they addressed the serious issues of her alcoholism within a generally light thriller. With the need of escapism so high, it definitely feels that well. I agree. I think that one of the reasons I liked it so much was the way it was handled is it was clear that she had a problem, and it was clear that was one of the main focuses of the story. But at the same time, it wasn't like a constant, like, hit you over the head, like, hey, you need to go to rehab. Hey, you're fucked up. Hey, we don't believe you because you're a drunk. It was kind of like she went through her life, and it was clear that she had a problem. And, like, every so often somebody would be like, how much have you had to drink today? Or, you know, her brother was like, perhaps you shouldn't be alone with my children. So, like, you know, felt like it was kind of more real life than what we generally do tend to see with this kind of plot, if that makes sense.
Right. It wasn't a very special episode.
Exactly. The whole series was kind of like, you know, a very special episode without it being a very special episode.
Right. It was a little more realistic of what life for a functioning alcoholic or a barely functioning alcoholic would look like. But I do agree with Matt and the Rosie Perez story. And like, it felt like it paid off at the last episode. We're sort of like, oh, that's why the undercover agent is there. Otherwise, why, like, you couldn't tie up that loose end so neatly.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like, her storyline felt really unnecessary to me, which was kind of a bummer because Rosie Perez makes everything great. So I felt like she was kind of underutilized in this.
Right. Like at the beginning, I thought it was going to be a lot more than it ended up being. And in the beginning, I was like, that's it. She's the bad guy. Because, you know, she throws her under the bus in the very first episode. And I was like, that's it. Like, it's supposed to look like she's innocent because she throws her under the bus, but it's going to come back. It's like Chekhov's bus throwing. And like... it clearly became, you know, obvious that wasn't it. But like, yeah, it was just kind of random. And I'm hoping that it has more of an impact. That whole scene where she's like, you know, trying to like secret agent in the bar to steal the phone. Like, that was really funny. Like, I agree. Rosie Perez could have been utilized a lot more. But yeah, no, I don't know. I really liked it as, I think, you know, as a thriller and as a character study in general. I don't know. I think, okay, so we've got like hot, medium, cold Goldilocks.
I don't know. I think our
Lukewarm.
discussion of it is sort of making me think that maybe I didn't give it quite as much of a college try, that maybe I should have been paying a little closer of attention, and maybe I would have enjoyed it a little more.
Fair.
And I wouldn't say that I'm medium on it. I really liked it. I did expect the end to be kind of a bigger, crazier turn, but I'm fine with what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was fun. I don't want that time back. Like, I don't feel like I wasted my time.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Sorry. More feedback. Mandy says, Shandy talked about healthcare expenses recently. Yesterday, I took Maddie to get tested for her penicillin allergy that we thought she had since breaking out in hives years ago. This coming after our ER trip and overnight in the hospital because the antibiotics prescribed from an infection didn't work. Haven't gotten those bills yet. But the allergy test was $439 after insurance. While I'm grateful to know she isn't allergic to it, I'm pissed about how much it cost to figure it out.
I just, like, why? Like, why? Why would it cost that much? That's the other thing. Like, these bills that, like, you just, like, don't even know when they're going to arrive. And sometimes we'll get them, like, months and months later. So it's like, how do you even budget for that? Because, like, you don't, what else is like that? That it's like, oh, we'll do this thing today and maybe you'll get a bill in, like, 6 months.
Yeah.
It's just like a surprise. Like, oh, by the way, you owe tons and tons of money. And we'd like that, you know, in the next couple of weeks. Otherwise, we're going to send you to collections. So.
Right. But it's like, but you took 6 months to send me this bill. So why do I only have 6 days to pay it?
Yes.
Somehow
Sorry,
that doesn't
Mandy.
seem fair.
Nope.
Yeah.
And how is it not like, how do we not know going into any given procedure, operation, anything? Like, how is it not that, like, you're told, like, this is going to be this much? And even with your insurance, like, this is going to be this much.
Yeah, I think
It's just always a surprise afterwards.
Right. Because nothing is one price. It's the price depending on whether you have insurance or not. It's the price depending on what kind of insurance you have.
Right. Different companies reimburse at different rates and pay out at different rates, and different providers have different contracts with it. So yeah, everything is always different.
It's just madness. I mean, talking about like the cognitive load of like being poor, talk about the cognitive load of like having American health insurance. Mm-hmm. Because I mean, I went off on the people when I was talking about like on to the people who did my x-rays.
Yeah.
When I was like, excuse me. like where is this even listed? How was I even supposed to know it was going to be this much? If I had known, like, I might have actually not done it. And they were like, oh, well, it's listed on our website and you can call your health insurance. And so it's like, okay, yeah. So technically they do list prices somewhere. I have to go find it on their website. I just have to like know that. And then I have to take the time to call my insurance to like figure out then. So it's just the amount of time and mental energy that would go into knowing anything. I'm supposed to do that with like every single thing I ever need to do. Like, no.
Well, just the fact that then that makes you consider whether or not you get a procedure. Because same thing. I have receding gums on one of my front teeth that I know I need to get fixed. But when I went to the gum doctor like probably 3 years ago at this point, they said we could like pre-submit it so I could see how much it was going to cost and what my insurance would cover, and they weren't going to cover any of it, so I just haven't gotten the procedure.
Yeah.
So I just haven't done it.
Yeah. I have
and it's like I'm going to have to eventually. That like it's better to do it now, but it's
right.
At the time it was like I don't have $2,000 to drop on this thing, and if the tooth is not falling out, so it's not falling out of my face. But
that's exactly like Frank recently got a partial crown because the dentist was like, you can either get some like fillings now, but we will have to then, put it like take it out, put in a crown later, and not even like that much later, like in a couple of years, or we can do the crown now. Like, let's instead of doing 2 steps. Let's just do the one. But the insurance, I'm still not sure where we're at with that, if they're reimbursing or not, because even though the dentist himself was like, this will need to be done. They're like, no, but you have to try the fillings first. It's like, why are you making us and you pay more and do multiple procedures?
Well, just remember the story with my boss. She had to have the spine surgery or whatever it was, the back surgery. And she was in a lot of pain for 1.5 years because we had great insurance at the time, too. Like, remember, I had 2 children for $750 each. And with Zach, that $750 was the anesthesiologist bill because turns out the anesthesiologist, the only one that was used by our hospital, was out of network. So that took care of that. I know.
It doesn't make any sense.
I know. You didn't have a choice.
In network, shouldn't all the services you receive the hospital that is in network be in network?
You would think so, but no, it's not. Whatever.
I think that's standard, though. I feel like when people say they get hit with surgery cost, it's usually the anesthesia.
And it was
in France, like you just don't pay to have a baby, and you stay in the hospital for significantly longer. Also,
oh really? Oh no, but
yes,
there's a point where you just want to get
giving birth
because you have to
be there to learn like how to have like nurses on hand to like teach you how to breastfeed and stuff. Like you need that time. I mean, that's their philosophy anyway.
So, but with my boss, we had this great insurance. She had the herniated disc or whatever it was, and she needed the surgery, but they would not sign off on surgery until she went through a full year of physical therapy and different like cortisone and steroid injections to make it like completely exhaust the benefits so that surgery was the last possible option. And so that was like agony. Right. So on one hand, you understand like, okay, surgery is invasive. If physical therapy works, like I could see an insurance company being like, go through 8 physical therapy sessions because maybe it's not whatever. But like she went through it for a full year before they would, were like, okay, well, we'll pay for these shots. And like, she was in so much pain. I remember days where it would be like 10 o'clock and she would be like hunched over and be like, I have to go home because I'm not going to be able to drive home soon. And like, nobody should have to go through that kind of pain, to suffer before your insurance will help you get better.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mandy. Glad that Maddie, hope that you figure out all of Maddie's allergy issues though.
Yeah. Oh, that's the worst. Like trying to figure out what the allergy is.
Yes, Amanda knows all about that.
Yeah, I know all about that. If you want to compare allergy test stories, I am here for you. It's a pain in the ass.
It's hard to believe that was more than 3 years ago that you had all those.
Yeah, that would have been 4 years ago at this point. Yeah.
Randy says Amanda has the right idea for the best Girl Scout cookie. However, I would slightly modify it to frozen Thin Mints kept in the freezer.
I like them cold, but I don't like them frozen. I don't like my foods at extreme. I don't like things super hot, and I don't like things super cold.
Room temperature.
Fair.
Yeah, just like tepid everything.
Tepid everything. He also says that he does not remember the Elizabeth Olsen song, which was the Mary-Kate and Ashley mystery song, which I kept saying last week it was called Building a Mystery. It's not, though.
Building a mystery.
I know, right? Matt says as a birthday present, which happy birthday, Matt.
Yeah.
All right. Happy birthday.
Woohoo. And happy birthday to Amanda's brother, Chris.
Right. Also this week.
Woohoo. Lots of birthdays. I remember Colleen playing the Olsen Twins mystery song, which feels like that insane clown posse song / meme Miracles. All right, that's fair. Dennis also doesn't remember that song. You guys are the worst. Brian shared this video with us, which has been going around. I got it on Instagram. I got it on Twitter. I saw it, Brian's thing on YouTube. I was going to play it, but I can't play it because it's all about the visual. So I will put the link in the show notes. And if you're on the Facebook page, check it out. I mean, it's this lawyer who's clearly an older lawyer. You can hear it in the voice tone. Much like I could hear a Zoom bomber was like a 20 to 22 year old, 18 to 22 year old. So there's this Zoom court and the judge, the opposing counsel, and then one attorney got the cat background where his screen shows him.
This was on the evening news tonight.
Was it really?
It was.
It's so...
Because I'm behind on Facebook, so I hadn't...
Oh my God, well, let's...
to watch the link. But yes, this was 100%
okay,
on
well,
the CBS Evening News tonight.
It's like a 30-second link, so we can totally take...
great that we had free time to talk about that on the Evening News. It was wonderful.
I know, right? We didn't have to talk about Twitter.
We didn't have to talk about Twitter.
We'll watch it real quick then.
Return to normalcy.
Okay, we're going to take a pause so you can watch it. It's like 30 seconds. It's really short.
Okay.
So funny.
I'm going to rewatch it too, actually.
Oh, so good.
It's so good. I'm not a cat. I'm a lawyer. Yes, I can see that.
I just didn't realize they had those kind of filters, the eyes.
I didn't either. It was kind of like he was on Snapchat, but Zoom.
Yeah.
Right, but it's like I feel like when you normally see like a Snapchat filter or a Snapchat filter, I feel like you can usually see the person's face, and it's just like things are kind of over the top. Like,
I know this poor guy, but the funny thing is the cat's mouth is moving.
And what do you have to click on to accidentally
right?
have this fully immersive
It's like one of his grandchildren had been using.
I know, I think so too.
Yeah, it's like a family, like a shared Zoom account.
That's my theory too, is he had a grandchild who was like zooming as a cat and like never turned it off, and this poor guy didn't realize it.
I'm not a cat.
I'm not a cat.
Oh, so that grandchild really needs to apologize for that.
Yep. I apologize for this.
So look, between cat face and Zoom bombing, I take cat face.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, 100% less penises. So,
yep.
And N-words. Thank you, Brian. And Matt said, I also started the Framing Britney documentary series on Hulu. It definitely looks like prime material for discussion. Actually, we talked about watching it before we recorded and saw your comment, because my sisters have watched it. I've seen it all over the internet. I am 100% looking forward to seeing that.
Me too.
Awesome.
Yeah. I think that we could watch it for next week, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Is it a doc or is it?
It's just a documentary.
Okay, great. Yeah, so easy.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to watch it. So if anybody else out there wants to watch the Framing Britney documentary, please send us your email for next week or phone calls, thebroadcasters3@gmail.com or 331-276-2373. We would love to hear what you have to say about it as well. And then moving into the That's What She Said.
They're saying 14 inches in some places.
I wouldn't say it's more than 10 or 12.
We're probably at a good 8 inches, right?
You may be tired. You can't blame that on the beer.
Obviously, it's not happening in person.
It was a big box.
For 12 inches.
For 12 inches, yeah.
Sometimes I'm just in the mood for hot, gross, and mustard.
I mean, aren't we all, though?
Always. Always.
It's sausage gravy.
I'm not saying I would like it. I could try it now, but it's never been appealing to me.
And someone does dry rub.
Doesn't sound great. The first time I loved it, and then the second time I was like, this is so greasy.
I just want to brag that I've done dry rub successfully before. I think that's the part I love so much about it.
I think that's kind of the point.
In my mouth, in the morning, and not on a plane.
But why not penis?
I wanted a vag.
But they were all out. We were only halfway there, so thank you for getting us all the way there.
I've done this whole segment before.
Sorry, buddy. You just don't work hard enough for it. You're out.
The capitalism mantra. The free market says. All right, but moving into But Her Shemales. Michael and Aaron sent us an email sexy time. Hey Rods, listening to your last episode sent us on a downward spiral that led us to stumbling upon this article. Attached is also our voice memo explaining our spiral. I actually got a text last week. It was like, oh my God, we went down this whole big path about mom blogs and sexy time while listening to the show. And I was like, and ... And then I never got anything, and now I did. So I'm very excited. I have been teased about the spiral, and I'm excited to hear it. Here we go.
Hello, Amanda, Shandy, and Colleen. It's Michael.
It's Aaron.
So we are listening to last episode, and we started a discussion as we were driving, listening to the episode about the least appealing ways to refer to sex.
Sexy time.
After, sorry, Kyle, we love you, but sorry. So it somehow this devolved into us reading a mommy blog that was talking about sex, and the infantilization of anything to do with sex by mommy blogs is an American tragedy.
The horizontal mambo.
Just horrific. So it turned into us reading the worst names for sex that then led to the article attached, which is the worst names for...
The vajayjay.
Oh, boy. I don't know.
Coochie? The hoo-ha?
I assume that nobody writing a mommy blog is having sex after they've had kids, apparently. So, of course, I have a 12-year-old. I understand that, when you have younger kids, it is tough. Not saying that. Can we not use infantilizing words for sex?
I'm sorry, Colleen. Sexy time is not sexy.
Sorry. That is our 2.5 cents. Attached is the worst names for...
The vajayjay. The vagina.
Yes.
The female organs that are below your waist.
Yes. The taco. All right.
Which was not on the list, I don't think.
It was the worst names. That's a good name. Tacos are delicious. All right. Goodbye.
Okay, a couple of things that I want to start with. First of all, it's not that tough with young kids. They do sleep at some point, and even if they don't sleep, there are separate rooms. I'm just going to throw that out there. My sex life has literally never taken a hit once. Second of all, sexy time is sexy to me. That's all I need.
When's for you?
And taco is taco. I'm
oh no, I do agree that tacos are delicious.
I agree they are delicious, but I disagree that there are other definitions for or uses for that word.
really not a fan of that.
Yeah.
As a word for vagina. I think vagina itself is fine and can be very sexy and beautiful. On this list, I don't know. I very much kind of disagree with this list. I don't think I would use. None of these words are really sexy, except for pussy. I will say, pussy can be sexy.
Wait. So this is moving into the worst synonyms for vaginas articles that they sent. Which, one more thing that I need to say before we get lost in all of this. When your husband's name is Jay, calling it a vajayjay is not like the end of the world. Just kidding. Yeah. I've literally never called it that. I do think...
But you could. You could, and it would be arguably kind of cute.
I could also call it like the Go JJ.
You could. You could also call it that, yeah.
I think all the names really started as a result of Sex and the City, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Because I think Sex and the City really like kind of made it a thing to call the vagina different things, and Sex and the City, a lot of the women that watched Sex and the City came of age to become mommy bloggers. That's what I'm getting at.
A mommy blogger that probably would be one of their like top 5 of all time shows. I mean, just not to make a generalization, and I know that is very not fair of me, but I said it, and I'm not going to take it back.
Well, I'm not gonna go that far, but I do think there's a correlation between, Sex in the City and women our age that generally tend to run mommy blogs.
I think that is fair. I think those are fair.
Because they
easy dots to connect.
Yeah, they did do a lot of that stuff in Sex and the City. But, go ahead, Shandy. I'm going to let you read the 13 worst synonyms for vagina ranked, because I know you're ready for this.
I think for the record, I think, I think we really should refer to anatomy by its anatomical words. But, so I don't know what I was going to say. Sorry. Okay. So this is from the least terrible to the most terrible.
Okay.
So the least terrible, according to them, is lady bits, which I think just sounds really dumb.
Lady bits is bad.
I use lady bits from time to time, but never in like a sexy way. I use lady bits like to be silly. There's like, my lady bits.
Also, I need to clarify that sexy time isn't like a turn-on word. It's just kind of like a safe way to describe it.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's also just part of the intimacy of a couple is that like sometimes you just have silly names for things, and that is unique to you as a couple.
Well, I'm not going to go on a podcast and be like, fuck time, guys.
Right, exactly.
I think we're missing the point of the voicemail. So, okay, worst synonyms.
They're missing the point of our discussion.
I just wanted to reiterate that I fuck a lot, okay? All right. So, just kidding. Again, it was just low-hanging fruit. Much like a cooter, which I'm sure is on this list.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I was going to say low-hanging lady bits. Next one is flower. Then vagine.
My vagina is a flower.
Mm-hmm.
That's from Vagina Monologues.
That is from Vagina Monologues. Yeah. So some of these also came from Eve Ensler, so that's fine.
But actually, Eve Ensler's came from storytelling of interviews of generations of women. So,
exactly.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
Bajingo and vajayjay, which really just makes me think of Scrubs.
Bajingo. Okay, that's
Where did that even come from? I've never heard that before.
Bajingo?
Bajingo, yeah.
I think it's a direct reference to Scrubs.
Okay,
because the main, I can't remember her name, but like the main Doctor in
Elliot.
Scrubs.
Elliot.
Elliot. How could I forget?
I fucking love Scrubs. But yeah, you're right.
No,
it's from Scrubs. You're right. And it's Elliot
She
said
can't
it.
say vagina. Yeah.
Wow.
Woohoo, yahoo, hoo ha. Coochie cooch. Not a fan of coochie cooch.
Yeah.
Beaver, personal least fave.
Yeah.
Muffin.
Yeah.
Who's Muffin?
Right. Are like vagina lips supposed to be muffin top? I've often wondered that, actually.
I don't know.
I've never understood just the food references. Like, why with the food references?
Because eating out.
Okay. I just want to. I have to say that I just made an RITP reference. So if anyone gets that, please tell me.
Okay.
Axe wound. I've never heard of that, and that's disgusting.
Ooh, that's disgusting.
Yeah, not great.
Not great.
Pussy, again, I would say of the list, that's like the only one that can legit be sexy. Snatch, no, gross. And cooter, no.
So you do agree with this list more than you think.
That's true. You did agree with most of that list.
I think the entire,
okay.
Yeah, no, I guess that means I do agree with the list.
Because
the entire, I just don't agree with the order.
So wait.
Because I'm saying that pussy is the most sexy, so it should actually be number 13.
Fair. I would say axe wound is actually on there. Axe wound is the most offensive.
I just want to know who's calling it an axe wound. Who was calling a vagina an axe wound?
Every single person, Amanda, every single person that stormed the Capitol, they're calling it an axe wound. Yes. Those people.
If they call it anything at all.
Just saying, it's those people. I actually really like the word coochie because my grandma says it, and it is very endearing to me.
Well,
so it's not sexy.
It's not sexy, but it's certainly fun to say,
right?
Like coochie,
right? Yeah, I don't know. I do. In terms of infantilizing, something we don't do that with kids. Like they know penis, they know vagina, they know breasts, they know the words for things. And do they sometimes? Zachary called my nipples something really weird once, and I remember being like, do you mean my nipples? And he was like, yes. And I was like, you know what they're called. Like, it was just a real weird thing. Because he couldn't think of the word for it. And he was trying to describe it. Yeah. And it was like, I can't even remember what he said, but it was something like bottle caps or something. But it wasn't that. That's just was sticking in my mind. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but I just remember being like, do you mean nipples? So anyway, but they are taught and they do know it. And I do, I think pet names for things, when you understand, the overall appropriateness of what something is, but like, kind of like how I call Jay Schmoopsies, like,
Yeah.
Out of this list though, I want to bring coochie back at the end.
Okay, but can we please never say beaver ever?
Beaver's done. Beaver's done. Axe wound is done. We can end snatch. Cooter.
Yeah.
Cooter. Coochie is
like
cute.
80% of the list. I think we can just sunset those words.
Yeah.
Lady bits and flower. Totally.
I like lady bits.
All right. You can keep lady bits. You can have lady bits.
It.
You have them. You can keep them.
Yeah. I mean, I think because I understood the list to be like whether or not it's sexy.
Right. I mean, it's not sexy. I would not use it in that context, but just as a general term, I like lady bits.
All right.
It's fun to say. That's really how I choose my words, apparently.
That's why I like coochie.
It's valid.
All right. Fair. Thank you, Aaron and Michael. We appreciate that. Can't wait to hear your feedback based on our feedback. Can we please keep coochie? And lady bits, please. Lady bits and pussy. Okay. Just those three. That's all we ask. And now we've got an Andy update.
All right. So Andy writes in, this Valentine's Day in Andy's virginity. Hey, broads. Well, another Valentine's Day is upon us, and my perfect streak of being single on that day continues. Of course, a continuing global pandemic is about as good an excuse as any for this. Besides, even if I were luckier in the past, who knows how sheltering in place would have gone if I did it with a girlfriend. I'm sure there have been a lot of couples who didn't last being quarantined together for this long, and I've seen news stories about how people seem to be having less sex these days. To be honest, I'm definitely not feeling it so much these days. This may be a weird way to seg into a happy Valentine's Day wish for the listeners, but a huge part of this past year has been trying to find ways to enjoy ourselves, even with everything being terrible. Hopefully the couples that have survived being in close proximity all these months have a great day, and for all us frustrated, unenthused single people, hopefully practice a little self-love. Not just that kind. As well, since it is okay to be single and maybe even beneficial in some ways these days. I'd just really like to be able to tell you something new and good sometime before Bumby goes off to college. At least I can still enjoy all the Valentine's Day candy I want without having to share. Hashtag I'm 6 feet from hers, Andy.
For the record, you don't have to share your candy even if you are quarantining with someone. I sure don't.
Fair enough.
Very true.
Well, thank you, Andy. And I think I saw those stories too, especially at the beginning of the quarantine about like people's sex drives kind of being like wonky, like one way or the other in some cases, because we're all like going through something really weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let them call sexy time sexy time. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes.
Yep. Whatever works for you.
Exactly.
Yep.
We are all not in a place to judge.
Well, thank you, Andy, for that email. If you guys have anything to contribute over email, thebroadcasters3@gmail.com or 331-276-2373. I think we have a new topic opening up about vagina and sex words and the like. I would love to hear what everybody else has to say. I feel like everybody's got their little thing. But, you know, I love a good discussion like this. So if you have anything for us on that or anything else we've talked about or anything in general, thebroadcasters3@gmail.com or give us a call, 331-276-2373. Next week, we are going to have our bonus show out, and then the following week, we should be live for our patrons. So if you're a patron at the Hangout level, be on the lookout for the link on February 23rd. We could do a birthday show for Shandy. Yay!
Yay!
And then again, of course, next week we will have the bonus episode, so stay tuned for that. If you'd like to become a patron, go to patreon.com/jayandjack or go to jayandjack.com and click on the Become a Patron link at the top right-hand corner of the page. Thank you to the patrons that contribute a certain level, and that would be Tech, formerly of Tokyo, Eckhart Rickner, Maggie the Magnificent, Greg the Gray, Joanne with a Plan, and Ed the Creepy Mailman. Thank you guys so much. Well, thank you guys for listening. As always, we appreciate it. Thank you for being patrons. Thank you for all the things that I usually say at the end of this show. Does anybody else have anything before we head out here?
Nope.
All right. Well, on that note, my name is Colleen.
My name is Amanda.
I'm Shandy.
Peace out, everybody.
Bye.